The case we're going to talk about today is which is the best era, which was the peak era for Star Trek. But is it the original series era, including all of those shows you just talked about?
Yes, it is.
Or is it the Next Generation era, which I'm here to tell you it is. You have to tell us who is right and why it's not Jeff.
Original geek, that's who I am. Rolling 20s with my squad, we got a plan. Marvel heroes on the wall, D&D dice in hand. Original geek, across the land. Level up, never gonna give it up.
All right, welcome to Original Geek. This is the All Fandom podcast where we dig into sci-fi, fantasy, comics, and every pop culture obsession that built the multiverse we live in today. So whether you're Gen X, Millennial, or just geek curious, welcome to the basement. I'm Steve Scarfo.
And I'm Jeff Shaw, and we'll be your Kubarashi Moreau for today's unwinnable scenario. Because we're talking Star Trek. A lot of focus on the new Starfleet Academy today. But Star Trek in general.
Yes. Were you trying to say Kobayashi Maru?
Yes, what I say. Moreau?
You said Moreau.
The island of Dr. Moreau for today's...
I'll give you one mulligan if you want to start over.
No.
Okay, all right.
I think that's
keep
awesome.
It running. I'm like, what are you saying? And I realized it was Kobayashi Maru. Yes, Star Trek in general. We've done the episode in the past, Star Trek versus Star Wars. It was very high level. We talked a lot about fandom totals and their impact in society. And Jeff rightly pointed out that Star Trek has made much more money for people. Star Wars has made much more money for people than Star Trek, but now we're going to talk more just Trek, and talk Starfleet Academy. But listen, before I get too far, I always forget to do this later on. We are going to do the random review for the Starfleet Academy here in a little bit. But so I'll say it again then. Like, subscribe, follow us on all the social media. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. If you're old like we are, people still using Facebook. Yeah, and check us out. We are going to be doing an appearance. I don't know if you want to call it that. We'll be showing up at the Northeast Comic-Con Collectibles.
Yeah, so if you're coming, let us know.
We will be wearing newly designed, you can't see them yet, but they are on their way, shirts in honor of Galaxy Quest.
Not enough to violate trademark.
Nope. These are in honor of, these are...
homage.
An homage. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Yes, but not so we can get kicked out or sued or anything crazy. And hopefully we'll get a chance to see for the cast members from that show. We're going to be showing up. So, So anyway, come find us. So today we're talking like we said, Star Trek. So, there's so much. What's your first memory of Star Trek?
Well, I'm not flashing back yet.
We're not flashing back.
But I will tell you.
Is that your true flashback? Is your first memory of
the original
Star Trek?
series? But
Okay.
I mean, I think, for me, think about some, to kind of put it both with the original series and with today's Starfleet Academy. Just so you know, we're loving the new Starfleet Academy series. So anything we say that could be construed as a ding is done with heart and support. When you love something, you can be honest with it. So anyway,
it still might be a ding, but it'll be done from the heart.
I was the person that I'm telling everyone not to be. The original series for me was Star Trek, and I did not watch The Next Generation until I got married, and my wife got me into The Next Generation.
Okay, if you're watching, the look on my face was legit. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
You never watched Next Generation until you.
No, I was
married?
one of those D-bags that had no good reason. Like, that's not Star Trek.
You
That's
think
not
you know
my
a
Star
guy.
Trek? And so I hear me echoed in some of the naysayers for Starfleet Academy because it is very different. And it hadn't really struck me that although we've had young characters in Star Trek it's never been a cast full of young people.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
and so
Wesley
people
Crusher.
are, yeah, we had Wesley Crusher. There's always someone, of course, my mom, maybe not the original series, but it seems like every series tried to have some younger character who would, maybe not be a main role, but certainly a reoccurring role. And so it had that, a little, that characterization, that voice, but it wasn't geared for them. Like, I felt like, I think that's maybe what's setting some people off, is this isn't geared for us. This isn't a Gen X show. They're like, eventually we're going to age out. And who's going to keep watching Star Trek? Well, you got to get
How dare
Gen
you
Z.
say we're going to get too old to be geeks?
No, we won't be on this earth anymore. And if
Oh,
they
you
want
mean literally age
yes,
out?
literally aged out, passed on, and we need the Gen Z and Alphas need to embrace Star Trek to keep it going.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely agree, and we do. We'll talk more about it when we get there to the review too. But I've read quite a bit of that negativity that you're talking about as well. I don't think people are. I don't think they're being realistic, right? It's the problem we have with properties that we love. I think people did it with some of the Star Wars one-offs too. But when you find something that you lock into, and I'll talk a little bit more in depth when we get to flashbacks and stuff. But for me, the Next Generation is that's where I really bought in, like lock, stock, and two smoking barrels, if you will. And so I understand that desire to, like, this is what it should be, and I'm going to lock onto this, and don't you fucking mix it up for me. But you also have to, there's many other series and movies that have come since where they're still fantastic. I remember the crossovers between the original series and the Next Generation. They had movies that were crossover movies, but I think people have to kind of get out of their own way a little bit. It's a great world that we get to watch evolve. So, try not to hold on too tight and dive in, to this show. The good thing is it doesn't have any of the archetypes. We're used to, like, Picard or Spock. There's no Kirk. You know what I mean? There's no, we have Holly Hunter's, she
Ada?
runs the school. Say it again?
Ada? I think it's Ada.
Ada, yeah. She's, her character is so different than we're used to from a Star Trek leader. And I think that's throwing some folks off too.
Oh, sorry, Ada. I've been watching this. It's spelled A-K-E. So
Ake, right?
Ake, yes.
Nala.
It's Nala Ake. Like,
Nala.
I'm not going to be pronouncing anything right tonight.
For anyone who's going to ding us on all these pronunciations, we know. Okay? We know.
Well,
yeah,
and
so-
I think it's the other, I'm sure you've seen this too, is all the people, like, it's too woke with, a Vulcan that's wearing a dress that's gay, and, all these strong female characters. And all I'm thinking is, like, were you not, because you talk about, like, putting yourself back in that time period. And I know we watched it when we were watching it in reruns. We didn't know we were, because it, like, only had 3 seasons in the 60s or something.
Yeah, the
like
original
that.
series, yeah.
Like, for its time period, even when we were there, when we were watching a decade later and thinking it's brand new, it was still, pushing. Still, at that time, there weren't that many strong Black characters, and we had Uhura on the bridge in an officer's role. Chekhov in the 60s, having a Russian, like, this is Cold War. Like, this is not, like, Sulu. Having Asian representation. This isn't that long after World War II, and the people still have their prejudices, and it pushed boundaries from the get-go.
Well,
And
they had the first interracial kiss on TV was
Right.
Spock and not Spock, was Kirk and Uhura.
right, yeah. And there were not black, there were Southern TV stations that refused to air it when that happened.
Yeah.
So like you don't those people who are digging it for things like that make zero sense to me. Like that from the very
Yeah.
start of Star Trek, it was
Well, and
pushing boundaries.
you can even go out for even Scotty running the engineering your bridge. Like if you think about it, every checkoff, like every character was, and I don't want to say a stereotype, but they had a different, distinct background, and it was meant to be a melting pot on the bridge. That was the point. Female characters, black character, everything you just said, and that was the point. But like you said, it was 66 to 69. It actually ended before I was born. And you know what I mean? And I'm an old bastard. So the fact that they were doing these things in the 60s when, times were still turbulent, you're right. People forget the origins. This was the point of Star Trek, was to say, we're going to have a better future. It's one of the things, I think I said it during our episode of Trek versus Star Wars, is one of the things I love about Star Trek. It's always hopeful for the future. It's always looking positively into I think in one of the Star Treks, they even make I think it's a Picard makes reference about, it's like a Peter Pan reference. They're like, where do you want to go? And he's like, second star to the right and straight on till morning. You know what I mean? It's literally that attitude through even the craziest and whatever ones you love and don't love. For Star Trek is it's always hopeful. I dig it. But I think now we're safe.
Let's take a trip through time. It's a geek flashback.
How appropriate that we're taking a trip through time
Nice.
for our
That's
flashback.
right. Yeah, so I know I already said it, but my flashback is the original series, but I'll be a bit more specific because I always think about that music when Kirk is fighting and he's got the double bladed weapon. It's like an axe, like
The
bum,
bat
bum,
lifts, right?
bum, 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 bum. And then flash forward to the cable guy, and Jim Carrey is doing that same bum 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 bum, fighting in like a medieval time scenario, and he's doing that Star Trek, Kirk fight, and I just loved the way he fought with. It was so absurd. Like he put his two fists together to really get someone.
But it wasn't even a punch. It wasn't like with the weapon, right? It was just his fist.
Yes, I'll put my two fists together. I won't just punch someone. I'll do this maneuver. And like that doesn't work. No one does that.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
But, in general, there wasn't a lot of fighting. And so, I think, kind of to our other point with this being very positive, Star Trek's a very positive show. They often tried to solve things without fighting. Fighting was in it. And those are some of the things that resonate with me. But, yeah, and specifically that dun, 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 dun.
I mean, one of my favorite things, of course, is the Captain Kirk cadence. We're here on the planet looking for some very special aliens. Like the cadence that Shatner put into that character, it's been mocked and made fun of, I don't know, countless times over the years, was always one of my favorite things. I used to do a joke that it was that brought it in just so I could do it on stage. And then I realized everybody did one, so I had to stop. But it's one of the things I loved about the original series. But to me, my flashback is really, it's the Next Generation. And very specifically because it started, and I have the list here. The Next Generation actually started in 1987, the year I graduated high school. And so I think I've mentioned it before. I was in the Army for a couple of years right out of high school. I left in 1987, June of 1987, was gone till June of 89. I just did a 2-year stint, but I spent a year of that time in Korea. So I went from Wells, Maine to like 7 months later being in South Korea. I'd never left the region, never even gone as far as Florida, and now I'm like on the other side of the planet. And my through line was The Next Generation, because I had started watching it at home, and we got regular TV, the Armed Forces, AAF, Armed Forces Network, AFN, something I think is what it was called, but they brought in American TV, so they piped it into the bases. And so when I was on duty, whether I was off duty, they had a TV in one of the offices, and then I eventually got one from my bunk, and I would watch Star Trek The Next Generation. And it was sort of like a little connection to having been at home. It was a little bridge. So something from home was with me so I don't know if it was that specifically that connected me to that show. But one of the reasons I love, and it's a good show no matter what, but that's one of the things that connected me to the show.
Did your family, because I know you said you watched The Incredible Hulk together, did you watch the original Star Trek together?
No, I don't think my family cared for sci-fi at all. I don't even remember my brother, who is more of a sci-fi guy. He loves all the same stuff we love, or most of it anyway. And I know he likes Star Trek movies. I don't remember him watching it. But Now he was 2 years older than me. So by the time I went to the Army, he was gone at college. So he graduated 85. So in 87, he was gone.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe that's why I remembered, with the flashback memory of Star Trek, is I did watch that with my family. Our family watched Star Trek. It was in syndication, it was in reruns, but remember watching it all together. And then the original motion picture that came out, I remember going to see that with my dad. And that wasn't one of those dramatic R-rated movies. That was a PG movie, so no one panic.
I will say, we did see
Voyager. I must mind meld with Voyager. Which, for those who have not seen it, is we sent Voyager, this satellite, out into the universe, which you don't know what that is either. But
no, I don't know why you're trying to explain a movie from 1979.
We sent unmanned reconnaissance.
It was a probe,
probe out into the solar system, and it became sentient. And in the Star Trek original series, it was called Voyager.
Yeah.
Instead of Voyager.
We must have, because I remember seeing Star Trek the Motion Picture, and it came out in 79, so I was 10. And it's not like today when you can just grab a movie and watch it at home. I remember seeing it, so we must have gone to the theater for it. And I remember Khan and the Search for Spock, like 82, 84. And I think it was the Voyage Home in 86. Is that the one with the whales? I think that's the one with the whales.
It was absurd.
Captain, there be whales here. Which is my horrible Scottish accent, sorry. But yeah, so that's for me. That link of the Next Generation from home to being in the Army was a nice bridge for me. Just a way to kind of zone out that I was several thousand miles from home and, sitting on the demilitarized zone. But now we're going to do our random review.
Nice.
It's time for a random review.
Nice. Welcome to the Original Geek Random Review. We set the topic, the dice set the direction. We know what we're reviewing, just not how. Today, we're reviewing Starfleet Academy.
Yay!
Woohoo! So again, if you're watching the whole episode, you're going to hear this twice. If not, please follow us on social media, like, subscribe. Hey, interact, ask us questions, tell us we're wrong. Get on these videos, tell us what we're doing right and what you love and what you don't like. And if there's other stuff, like always, I'm going to try to put up the lists and make it readable so you can see what we're reviewing afterwards. And then if there's something else you wanted us to talk about, let us know.
I'm ready.
All right.
Hit me.
All right,
Hit
Jeff.
me.
Here we go. Oh, I rolled a 6. Successful stealth. The Prodigy connections. Sam's reference to the protostar. Heartwarming continuity. When the hologram Sam mentioned Dal and Gwendola to the Doctor, it confirmed that Prodigy is essential viewing. It rewarded deep lore fans without alienating new viewers.
Okay.
And I see the look on your face.
All right. So first of all, I will admit I am. There's one other thing I need to embrace is the animated content.
Yes.
This is true for Marvel. It's true for Star Trek. It's true for Star Wars. I do not watch as much of the animated content, and Star Trek Prodigy is animated content. However, what I do want to twist this into, the stealth check, is all the Easter eggs that are in Starfleet Academy. If you have not watched this and you are a Star Trek fan of the original series, Deep Space Nine, The Next Generation, if you're like, oh no, I'm that era, I'm not this era, there's so many Easter eggs. It's awesome. And so their Starfleet Academy is in San Fran, which is where the whales were. And so you just represented, like, that's one of the Easter eggs in Starfleet Academy is they see the whales. And then I love Paul Giamatti's character in this. He's a great villain, and he reoccurs he's at least in it twice in the first 7 episodes. Nas Braca, he's so good as a villain in this, and he's in the first episode, and there's a moment when he's in an escape pod and he holds his hand up, and it's just like when Spock and Kirk are separated from in the glass, I think in the Wrath of Khan
I think it was the search
like
for Spock.
Spock's dying,
Yeah.
and the needs of the few outweigh. So it's and then flash forward to when Nesbraka reappears in, I think, episode 6. He actually says that she weighed the needs of the one against the needs of the many.
Yeah.
So it was really, it's got so much stealthy. I'm making a stealth check here. Easter eggs, references, Deep Space Nine, original series. There's probably Next Generation. I haven't caught it yet. I'm sure it's there. I just haven't caught it. So I did not catch this one because I didn't watch Prodigy yet.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. All I'm hearing is you didn't watch Prodigy, which is fine. I haven't watched it yet either. I will say, I think I've tried it before. The only animated series I've watched was Lower Decks. So that's funny. All right. I will say again, I have nothing for Prodigy specifically. I do love that they put that in, and I agree with you on all that. So I'm not going to reiterate, and I didn't see any other ones that you didn't see. I haven't noticed anything specific. Next Gen callback. They very, very blatantly talk about Sisko in one whole, Captain Sisko in one whole episode. And they reference Deep Space Nine. They do reference other stuff as part of the storyline. So not as much Easter eggy, but just paying homage to the lore and the broader sense of the story.
I have to think Wesley Crusher has, like, his whole, like, he must have got kicked out of the Academy because they lied about that. There was something and someone ended up dying in some scenario.
Yeah.
And I have to think at some point something like that's going to come up, because I looked into it. What has Starfleet Academy, like, how has it appeared in the original series, and it really wasn't in there. Next Generation was in pretty heavily with Crusher. Deep Space Nine had some content. Voyager had some Starfleet content. There's been a little bit in everything, but I think Next Generation had the most because Wesley Crusher being such an important character.
Yeah, it's funny. So I did a little live Googling because I couldn't remember, because I thought he actually became a Q, but he didn't. He became a Traveler. So he left Starfleet Academy because he had become a Traveler. And I do kind of remember that storyline. They're just more interdimensional cosmic beings, very like wise and intelligent, not Q like Loki and mischievous and annoying like the Q are. But yeah, so he does leave Starfleet Academy in order to become a traveler, this transcendent being.
All right. Shall I roll for you?
Roll it up. Let's do it.
We got a 16. That is a successful wisdom check. The New Mutants' energy, the chemistry of the core 6 cadets, the show's real engine. Despite the cringe dialogue, I don't know why they had to throw that in there. The actors, Andra Rasta, Karine Diane, etc., are genuinely charming. Their friendships feel like they are being built on shared survival, not just proximity.
Okay. I'm on both sides of this fence
Okay.
because I recognize some of the cringiness. I think one of our other topics mentioned a CW sort of energy to the younger crew that we're dealing with. But I think, like you said earlier in the episode, if you weren't listening before this review, go back and listen to the whole damn episode. That's the point, right? It's meant to have a different energy. It's meant to bring a new generation quite literally into the Star Trek Starfleet world. And how do you do that in 2026? You have to play to that Gen Z, Gen Alpha audience. Like, remember, was it called A Knight's Tale? It was
With Heath Ledger.
Heath
and
Ledger.
Anachronistic.
Paul
yes.
Bettany. Yeah, it's
A
all
Knight's Tale.
anachronistic, right? And it was a
Yeah.
great movie, but it wasn't true to the time. But
Yeah.
it brought a story like that to a modern audience in a fun way, and it got to tell the story they wanted to tell. I think that's kind of what they're doing here. I don't think they're doing it intentionally for that purpose, but they're there's young love, and there's like a actually fairly kind of not graphic sex scene, but it's almost it's like close to graphic.
Gene Roddenberry would have been proud.
I
He
mean,
tried to get a lot of stuff through. that he
yes.
could not
So
get through.
this is the beauty of being on Paramount Plus, right? So they could get away with more. And of course, I think people are upset about it, but they all swear to each. Now, it's not constantly filth and
Yeah.
foul, but they do swear like, holy shit, right? But it's like, I feel like most of those usages are appropriate to the situation, right?
Yeah.
You know, how many times have you ever wanted to see Captain Kirk or Captain Picard go, what the fuck are you talking about? Right? That's what you want to see. And it's fun and it's light. And I do think that these actors play well together. But of course, it is very much geared to a younger audience. So the girls are all very pretty. The guys are all ripped and jacked. Like, it's definitely an aesthetic choice as well. They're all great actors. I'm not taking anything away from their skills as actors, but they're also very pretty people, and they are also playing these relationships, you know? And, yeah, the main character, I just lost his name.
Sandro Rasta, Caleb Beer,
Caleb, yeah.
or Nala Ake.
No, Caleb's character. Do you know what's funny? We just did the Marvel episode. If you haven't watched, go back and watch it. Tatiana Maslany plays his mother in the first episode.
Oh, yeah.
I
she
was
does.
watching. I
You're
was
right.
so psyched when I saw her because I haven't seen her
You're
since She-Hulk. I was like, oh my God, that'd be awesome if she's in this. But anyway, I don't want to go on too long, but I actually like the energy of these kids together. I think they do a great job. I think it's fun. They're very funny at times, and they can be serious. You know, I think the showrunners and the episode, the way they're jumping in and out of certain topics, is harder. I think that's worse for me than the characters, but I think the actors and the characters are great. You know, they're doing the job they're meant to do.
Yeah, I think I've said it in other episodes. I used to be a high school English teacher, and so I saw a lot of teenagers, 1,000 over my career at least. And if anyone ever thinks, "Oh no, this isn't realistic," yeah, it is, because they're way too emotional. They're not making logical choices. They're like, yeah, okay. That's like, Yeah, they're teenagers. This makes sense. This tracks. So,
Well,
and it doesn't matter. Watch any teenage movie from from the 60s, like Rebel Without a Cause, through Breakfast Club, through this show right now. They're all acting the same.
yeah.
It doesn't matter the time period.
No, I mean, teenagers are teenagers. What are you going to do, right? And I know these are supposed to be like late teens, early 20s, but still, they're like high school, college kids at this point, and they all have different physiology, which is, also, it's funny. They all sort of look human, obviously not the Klingon, not Jaden, but essentially they're all humanoid, and Genesis, I don't remember what race she's supposed to be, but she's obviously not human. And then Sam is a hologram, but they all have these connections, and it's great. But
the Doctor is too, right? I mean,
yes, the Doctor is from Deep
Voyager.
Space Nine or Voyager. Voyager. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
He's
seeing
awesome.
him pop in.
Robert Picardo, great.
Yeah.
Great to see him back. And yeah, so that's good. Oh,
And
all
again,
right. I thought he was a hologram, but I just wanted to double check.
Yes, he was the holographic Doctor, and then in Voyager they made it so he could be portable. He had his own field generator in his comm badge, and obviously now this is thousands of years later timeline, or hundreds anyway. But again, before we just watch it, there's a lot of connections to different shows, connections to Discovery. They're all connected through this show, and it's great.
Yeah.
So that's our random review. If you loved it, tell us. If you hated it, tell us. But just tell us. And jump on again all the socials and let us know what you like. But right now, I got to take Jeff to court.
The fandom is divided. It's time for Geek Court.
All right, take me to court.
All right.
What's
so
the case?
the case we're going to talk about today is which is the best era, which was the peak era for Star Trek. Now,
Yeah, and we
there are a lot-
identified 4.
Yes. Go
So
for it.
our 4 general categories is the very first Enterprise with Captain Archer. So it was the very first time we went into space. That could be considered an era because it's a Star Trek Enterprise TV show. Then we've got the original series era, which I would also say encompasses Strange New Worlds. So that era, which is your Pike, Kirk era. And then you got the Next Generation, which is Picard, Deep Space, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and I say Voyager is in that era as well. And then finally, you've got the newest era, the 32nd century, which is seasons 3 through 5 of Discovery, plus the new Starfleet Academy. So those are our 4 eras that we can choose from.
Yeah.
And I know you love that Jeffrey Archer series, that Captain Archer series.
Today we're gonna fix our brain on 2 of those 4, and
Okay.
I think we've sort of tipped our hand here a little bit. But is it the original series era, including all of those shows you just talked
Yes,
about?
it is.
Or is it the Next Generation era? Which I'm here to tell you it is. So,
Hey, not.
all right, tell me
I
why.
hate to win all of these. It's
You
just a
hate to
shame.
because you don't. That's why. Go. What do you got?
All right. Well, I am starting with the original series era, the Pike and Captain Spike and Kirk era. It's got the best content. The first of all, loved the original series. Without it, we don't have Star Trek. So there's that. Evidence 1. Star Trek doesn't exist without the original series. Therefore,
Creationism,
the
sure.
best. Those, it stood the test of time. Only 3 seasons, and yet huge impact to this day. And so I would say what a lot of people think Star Trek, a lot of people think that original cast with Kirk and Spock and all them. So, and I thought it really set up what I consider my favorite structure for a Star Trek show, which is episodic. It's in not a serial, which I'm not against that. So I know some people ding that with Discovery, but I do like the episodic nature, which each show could be its own standalone, and you don't have to watch the show right after it or before it necessarily. Then the Strange New Worlds kind of keeps that going, kind of revise that as a prequel, but also same period. I love that. And finally, and I know they may be controversial with the Kelvin timeline, which is the reboot from J.J. Abrams, which has Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto as Kirk and Spock. And those 3 movies are a lot of fun. Yeah. And that's all that same timeline. So I think there's such great engaging content, and it really set the stage.
You can't forget Carl Urban as Bones.
Oh my God, yes, I did.
Carl
and
Urban.
Simon Pegg as Scotty.
Yes.
It's a great cast.
I will tell you, you're wrong, but I'll tell you why I like those movies. Yeah, I mean, you can't beat the cast of those movies, so I absolutely have to give that part of it to you. But again, I have to go right back to The Next Generation. The Next Generation, and I'm looking at some timelines here, right? So yes, in actual time, there was the original series, and I don't think anything else happened until 79.
Well,
which was
the animated.
Was the animated before that?
Yeah, I think it was like
73 to 74. The original Star Trek animated series actually only got 2 seasons. So they had the real show. Then they about 8 years later, tried the animated series. And then nothing else hit until 79, and they started doing the movies, right? Motion Picture, Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, Voyage Home, all are in pre-Next Generation. And I think what they realized at that point in time is we still have a storyline, to your point, that started with a simple 3 seasons, and that people still love these characters. People are still drawn to them. We don't want to let it go, but we have a cast that's aging out quickly because they started in 63 and now it's 86. So you're 25 years in, they're in their 40s, 50s minimum, and some of them are older. And this is not a young cast. We can't keep it going for forever here. And I think what the Next Generation did is truly bring in that next generation of fans. So I like Next Generation. I think it's the most important era because I think the original series is sort of a proof of concept. And that era is a great proof of concept. But I think Next Generation sort of proves it's the proof in the pudding. Hey, we have something we know works. Let's try it again. Oh, it does work. And we still got it right because they could have easily screwed that up. Right. They kept to their core principles. They kept to the missions of Starfleet. They kept to all of the tenets that they had built in the original series. The idea of diplomacy over battle, but they're not afraid to fight. But in the Next Generation also brought in new things like the Q with John Delancey, who was, annoyingly fun to watch. And then, like we've mentioned before, Wesley Crusher, they brought in a younger character to sort of bridge that to some of the kids. So I really think, not that I don't have anything against the other one, but I think that was proof of concept. This is proof in the pudding. Next Generation, I think, really is the best era. And then we also proved it out. We branched, right? We got Voyager, we got Deep Space Nine, same era, same timeline, different quadrants of space, same story, essentially tied together. So they proved it can be done again, and they proved it can spread and be bigger.
Then they realized their mistake and did a prequel and a 900-year span sequel. So they had to get as far away from that Next Generation as possible.
Do you know what I think is great? I still think I'm right and you're wrong, but I don't know if that's true. You guys will have to tell us who you like better. But I do think they finally started to realize we're running out of shit to talk about in this timeline, right? They really did branch, and it was supposed to be Kirk and Picard not long after, right? It wasn't like they've done with some of these newer shows, and they literally had to go back to Pike with the Brave New. But you know what I mean? And I love it. It's a great show, and people have problems with that show too. But
They
I
should.
think it's great, and they really have bridged. We talked about. We both talked a little bit about Section 31 earlier, which is sort of a one-off of a one-off because it's a spin-off of Discovery. But yeah, I think there's so much in this topic to talk about, but we're running out of time. So that's the court. I say next gen. Jeff is telling us it's the original era.
Yes.
You have to tell us who is right and why it's not Jeff. That's why Jeff's telling us. Right now, we're going to drop into some treasures.
Dust it off and geek it out, because it's a basement treasure.
They're digging in the wrong place.
All right, since your treasure's better than mine, I'm going to present first. And I didn't have to go to the basement. This is right on the bookshelf, right back there. Coffee table book, The Art of Star Trek. This is my wife's book. And part of the reason I wanted to share this, even though it is, it's a great book, and it focuses a lot on the original series and that cast and the movies that came past it. But it brings us into the Next Generation, and then the movie that got me into the Next Generation, which was Star Trek Generations, because it had both the old cast, the original cast, and the Next Generation cast. And I really liked it, and I'm like, you know what? I just got to give it a shot. And what a binge, because there were a lot of episodes for the Next Generation. It's not like today. So if you were like me and you're like, just the original cast, you've got a lot of Star Trek to catch up on, and it's good stuff.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Next Generation was 7 seasons, and that's when seasons were like 28 or 32 episodes. Not like today, we get 10. So you're right,
Yeah.
There was a lot there. And it was, I think Final Frontier and Undiscovered Country were both crossover movies, right?
No,
Generations,
only Generations,
and First Contact. Wasn't that a crossover too? No?
just Generations.
I thought there were 2 crossover films.
I'll double check while you present your thing.
Well, you fact check me, because I think it was then it was either Undiscovered Country and then Generations. But so this is the weirdest of my basement treasures. Often I'm telling you guys, hey, I couldn't find it. I dug these up. These are from probably 25, 30 years ago. As you guys know, I'm a stand-up comic. Buddy, one of my friends, Gary Cowett, moved out to Vegas in, I think, 02 or 03. He decided he was going to go out there, and he's been doing great out there. And another friend of ours who's a comedian, Ryan Gartley, and I decided we were going to go visit him for his 40th birthday. And we decided, hey, let's go hang out in Vegas for a week, because that's what's, why not? It's fun. It's Vegas. And we were hitting comedy clubs and having fun and gambling and drinking. And we literally, and I'm not even kidding you, stumbled across a Star Trek convention. Didn't know it was going to be there. We were walking from place to place. And Ryan and I were like, holy shit, there's a Star Trek convention. So we went in, and I got these. You have to watch if you want to see what they are. But this is a signed picture from the Star Trek Next Generation cast. It's early on in the season. It's actually got Whoopi Goldberg as Guinan, so I think it's probably in seasons. Maybe she was there from the beginning. But I got to meet Marina Sirtis, and I got her autograph here on this picture. It was pretty cool. And I got to meet Walter Koenig, a.k.a. Mr. Chekhov. And I got his signature here on this picture of Chekhov and Kirk. So I'm my own generation filler here. I crossed generations all by myself, Jeff. I didn't need any help. And now I got to protect these again. But yeah, so those are mine. I did have to dig these out because I was like, Jesus, where did I put them? But I've had them now forever. And it was such a cool thing. And it really was just luck. It wasn't, trust me, I'm geek enough to plan and go to one. It wasn't a plan. It just happened to happen. but it was fun.
So while you were presenting your artifacts, Star Trek Generations is the only crossover. First Contact was the new Next Generation cast with none of the old cast, except for Spock. Spock, like, kept going, but the others did not.
Undiscovered Country didn't have a crossover?
No, that had all the Shakespeare references with the Klingons and yeah.
Oh, I'll have to go back and watch it again. Look, another reason to go back and watch a movie.
Look, you needed it.
I know, I watch so much shit. It's all good stuff. But yeah, so those are our basement treasures. Now we're going to drop into some evolution.
From floppy disks to streaming clicks, it's Geek Evolution.
All right, and I hate to be the keeper of time. We're going to have to make this one of our fastest evolutions.
Yes. Yeah, don't hate. I was looking at it too, going, wow, you guys, if you've heard us at all, you know we love our stuff. So we tend to get long-winded. And so I don't think this one, for evolution of Star Trek, we kind
of covered it a bit. Right?
I was going to say, yeah, we've done quite a bit of geek evolution here. But I'll just, just reiterate the transitions from that they've made. And I'll just to give it a bit of a different spin, I'll come back a step and talk about the productions that they've put on. So we know we love the story. We know we love the characters. We know they have meaning to us and the philosophy of Starfleet and how they handle the future, right? For me, one of my favorite things ever is to watch a good new episode of one of these shows. I actually loved Strange New Worlds. It was my favorite. I would sit out on the deck because it came out in the summer and I could smoke a cigar and just sit outside and watch on my tablet. And it was just awesome. But in a sense of production, they've been so good. How many times have you seen a show or a movie come out and the sequel was done by a different director and it just is horrible? They used to do this with superhero movies all the time. They would just completely screw it up. One of the things I love is the Roddenberry family has kept some hand in the clay as these things are being built. And I think that helps because, I think even though they have evolved and the storylines have taken us with them, that one thing that's been constant the whole time. So this is a lack of evolution, but it's a maintaining of really high standards of production across all of these shows. Love them or hate them, they don't budge when it comes to making sure that these things are, and I'm talking from the writing and up. I know some of them had smaller budgets for actual production, but
yeah. And the biggest evolution has been special effects. And if you watch those early Star Treks, oh my God, they were bare bones budget. But, they still do the shaky cam. And obviously it makes sense. Like, they're not going to move the whole set when they can just have the camera operator shake the camera. I think it's funny. I hadn't, because I was listening to someone kind of do an episode breakdown of the last episode of Starfleet Academy, and they talked about the shaky cam. And like, oh my God, yes, of course. They're still doing a shaky cam.
Well, yeah, they can't put the whole set on tilts and stuff, and they still have to throw themselves to the ground when there's an explosion.
Well, and what they were being critical of the fact that they're reusing sets, and of course, I don't have the eye or the time maybe for some of these people that like, oh, wait a second, that's the same set that they just used in Strange New Worlds. They got married. There was a wedding in one of the recent Starfleet Academy episodes, and like, oh, that's the same set that was used in Strange New Worlds. And this, like, okay, but they did that in the original series. Now, yes, you had to cut. Like, there are certain budgets.
What same set would it have been? Because there was only one sort of desert style red planet, but I mean, that could be any, like,
that's the thing.
Super picky.
Oh, and then, in the episode, it was awesome when they were on the training exercise and the Paul Giamatti's Nus Braca was back on. apparently, the set was in distress, so they were covering it with like tarps or whatever. And they're like, oh, I know, that's the same set from Discovery as like, yeah, it's supposed to be the same ship or
Yes.
style of ship. Like, come on, you don't have
Do you
to
know what's funny?
rebuild.
I do want to go back and look. That might have actually been a callback to Discovery.
It was probably deliberate.
Yes, because the ship had a specific name, and I
Yeah.
guarantee you. All right, hold on, I'm not going to go back. We're going to live. Google
So
this
no,
picture.
I did check, and that name reference was actually to the a Japanese animator. So it wasn't actually. I thought for sure it was a ship that was in Discovery, but no, it wasn't. Also, another thing that I discovered is the Academy set is the largest set they've ever built and the most expensive set they've ever built for Star Trek. They poured more money into this. So yeah, but the budget is unlimited. So yeah, they're going to recreate some sets. And you know what? If that gives us more episodes, because that's the budget that they got, it looks amazing. Give them a break.
Well,
So-
and let's be honest, it's a Starfleet ship, so they're gonna kind of look similar.
I know.
It's like saying, wait,
the bridge.
I saw an F-16 last week. That's got to be the same. No, we make planes that look the same because that's
Right.
the easiest way to make them. We
It's
don't
so
need
true.
17 different types of plans. So
Yes.
I know we're running late on time, but y'all got to. So listen, here's what we're going to do. Hold on. We're not fucking around this time.
You kids don't know how good you've got it.
We're going to go right in. Yeah. So we're going to jump right into the rant and say, cut it out. Like, don't nitpick. I get it. There are lore goblins in everything that has any kind of lore behind it. And I get it. If it's something overt, there is one type of race that is half black, half white, that I
Yes.
guess in the original series that they were never supposed to be. So people are pissed off that they're at the new Starfleet Academy. And I'm like, dude, it's been thousands of years.
Exactly.
The Betazoids had just rejoined Starfleet. There was,
Yeah.
if you didn't see Discovery, stop bitching about stuff you're not catching on to, because there was the burn and people broke apart and there was no Starfleet for a while. They had to rebuild Starfleet. This is the first Starfleet Academy in hundreds of years. So cut the crap. It's okay. It is okay for things to be different because there has been a true evolution, a time and space evolution.
All right. So my message is actually, sometimes I do this too, because I'm very hopeful that someday the producers, the studios, they're going to be listening to us. They need to get the hot goss, the tips, the advice.
From
And
the old
mine
guys.
is, let's get some longer seasons. And I'm okay if you keep reusing sets and cut some of that CGI. These 10-episode seasons are just too short. I loved when they were 20, 30 in a season.
It was like 22 or 24 was the standard.
And because these are episodic, you can do that. And I think, so that's my pitch. Like, Star Trek had a lot of low budget before, and it's okay. I know it's probably not okay anymore because you've really set quite a standard and these shows look beautiful. But man, I'd rather have more of them. So that's my rant, my message.
So it used to be 22 to 26 episodes. I wanted to make sure I was on the right track. I agree. I think the problem we have is it's not going to happen because it's too. You got to remember too, an episode in the day was 42 minutes because of commercials. So when we get an hour-long episode, we get an extra 20 minutes of actual content. So
That's a good point.
I'm not saying it covers the 22 to 26, but it's harder for them, or it takes more to make
Yes. Oh, no.
a single episode than
I
it
mean-
did before.
A single episode costs what a season costs.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. All right. We are long in the tooth and we got to do some hits and fails. So let's jump into this.
It's critical hits and epic fails.
Give us a hit. I gotta fail.
I was going to do a different hit. Last time we talked Star Trek, my hit was Lower Decks. But I am going to go, oh, geez. Well, I said I wasn't going to do this, but now I'm going to do it anyway. I'm not going to say Starfleet Academy in itself. My hit is the production teams are always finding ways to keep this story moving forward. And so my hit is Star Trek in general Star Trek has never let me down. I can see some stuff that I go is silly, like the one with the whales, right? That's sort of, the goofier stuff. I do have a different fail that I'll talk about specific to Starfleet Academy after you do your stuff. But yeah, that's the hit for me. I love that they're always doing more. I love that they're always branching out. I love that they're always bringing in new characters and trying to tell the same type of story in a new way. That's my hit.
All right. And I'll jump right into an epic fail. I love almost all the Star Trek theme songs. They are great. That, like, you hear it and you're ready. You're ready for that voyage, except for one. And this is a great show. Star Trek Enterprise. I was a huge fan of Scott Bakula's Quantum Leap. We should do a Quantum Leap episode sometime.
Oh, yeah, we should.
And love Scott Bakula. Great actor. He plays Captain Archer. And I watched, so I was, in preparation for this, I was rewatching like little bits of everything. And I started rewatching Enterprise. And the theme song kicks in. I'm like, what the fuck? It's a power ballad, not this orchestra, not that sci-fi orchestra stuff we're used to. And it sounds like someone imitating Michael Bolton. And the chorus is, "'Cause I've got faith of the heart. I've going where my heart will take me. I've got faith to believe. I've got faith. Faith of the heart." Like, what? What the fuck?
Can my epic fail be that singing?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can't sing. But how dare they? How dare they?
They messed with the music.
And then you have to endure that every episode. So that may have been what was the downfall of that TV show. So
I have to admit, I've never actually seen that Star Trek. I do have to go back and watch Star Trek Enterprise. Jesus Christ, I say that every episode. I'll do a quick fail from the show Starfleet Academy. The only thing I don't like is they did have that very intense episode that we were talking about with the wrecked ship. And then they jump into a wedding episode. And it was a really weird dichotomy. They try to blow it off with a time jump of a month or something has gone by.
It's been 4 weeks. I dare you.
Yeah. So everything's fine and we don't have to worry. But I won't dig too deep on that. So listen, if you're still with us, thanks for staying around. You stuck with us for another geeky hour and we love it. Hey, write in originalgeekpodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on originalgeekpodcast.com. We got great merch. We're still wearing our Bunker Geek shirts. We got new stuff coming out. But check out the podcast, check out the clips, like, follow, and more importantly, subscribe. But thanks for being geeky and hanging out with us.
Hit it, OGs. Engage.